True to form, I have numerous projects going on at the same time. This tractor has gotten to the point where this gear shift is so loose that I have trouble selecting gear sometimes. It won't come out or it won't go in. So I have to drop the transaxle, which is what I did not want to have to do. So I'll be doing that. That'll be today's, for this video's project. I also am working on the sandblast hood. That's the upside down view, of course. And I picked this up yesterday. It's a 100-gallon air compressor, a Webster, without electric motor for 150. I've had it up to 40 psi so far, but I've got a couple of leaks to fix, and also I don't have the proper drive belt, so I can't really drive it without slipping. Once it gets up to about 40 pounds, it's starting to slip too much. So that's well, it's supposedly a 5-horse motor, but it's actually, if you count the kilowatts, it's 4. So hopefully that's strong enough. I'm trying for the minimum RPM on the compressor is about 350. So I'm going to try and keep it around that level somewhere because I'm going for quietness. But it's pretty heavy duty. I'm pretty sure it had a 3-phase electric motor on it before. And I don't understand this completely. It looks like some kind of radiator or condenser. It's got an outlet valve here, and it has direct air pressure. So I don't think it's a 2-stage pump, but I suppose it could be. It could be coming in here through the air filter, going out to the radiator, back into the 2nd stage, which would explain these 2 valves. So maybe it is a 2-stage compressor. But change the oil in it, and it takes 2 liters. I mean, my one up there takes half a liter. And that's a 30-gallon 3-horse. So, onward. Down in there, right beside the big pulley, is a nut and a bolt. Same thing on this other side towards me. And so those have to come off. And then there'll be some linkages to undo. And then I've got some U-bolts there to undo. And hopefully I can drop it out. We'll see. This is the clutch actuator rod here, clutch and brake. And it's got a split pin in it, which is very awkward to get to, but I have to remove that up in there. And I removed the big spring for the main return for the clutch. It's bolted. It's got a bolt down in there. You can just see. I've taken it out. That's the only way I could get it free, so it's going to be a challenge to get it back in. It's a very stiff spring, and I can't get the proper angle to get in there and put some full force on it. So there's the transaxle hanging. As soon as I get that clutch rod disconnected, I should be able to get it out. Pulley came off very easily with some heat on that nut, and then it just pulled off. So now I've got these 4 Torx screws to take out and see what lurks underneath there. As you can see, it's a bit on the loose side, but we'll see. I'll admit this isn't as worn as I thought it would be, but definitely is loose when you're shifting. I can see definite wear on it. Looks like it's supposed to be flat on this side and curved on that side. And the only thing I can do is build that up and file it down. That's my only option. Inside is all metal. Looks like it might even be pot metal. So I'm not going to be able to do anything with that. This is plastic. So there's a bit of play in that, but not terrible. So much as I hesitate to, I think I'm going to have to build that up a bit and file it down until I get a good fit. So I chickened out. I was going to weld it. I used brazing instead. Filed it down. I got to add a little more, but I'll show you how close it is to being right. So you can see how much it moves there. So it's pretty close. I just fill in some of those pits that I left, and its throw is definitely less than it was before by quite a bit. There's in gear, reverse, so that's its throw. It's about 4 inches. So that definitely fits in there, since that part of the floor is down around here, I think. No, it's higher up than that, but anyway. So I'll clean this off and paint it, just so it looks like I've worked on it. Other than that, I just got to check the grease level in there. I don't think it takes oil. It seems to have grease. It seems to be packed with grease. Now the gear shift is still a little, that's not bad, a little sticky. But I can easily remove that big pulley now, and I can remove the gear shift. The only reason I had to drop the transaxle was because I couldn't get that pulley off and I couldn't get the gear shift out. So it's still a bit sticky, so I think I might have it just a little too thick yet. I'll file off a bit more and that should fix it. The next conundrum, there's a very big spring there going to a bracket which is a long ways away from it. And I'm a little too weak to do that. So I have to have some means of pulling that thing forward, which is going to be a challenge. Why did I start this? Oh yeah, because I couldn't drive it anymore. Or sometimes pull up to a fence, couldn't back up. I didn't feel like pushing it. Oh well. I don't know what they do in the factory to get that spring on, but what I did was a chain. I had hooked here into that spring on the end of it, and then up to the bench. And my son-in-law had to lean against the bench to hold it and used to come along, pulled the chain, got it into position, pried it over, and finally was able to get it to hook down in the hole. And then this will be a sacrificial piece of chain. I will cut that and leave it at that. Get a zip cut in there and get rid of it. But here's the shifter. Way better than it was. And then there, like that. Before it was going from about here to about there. So now I shouldn't get stuck against the fence. That's always good. I have a confession to make. I didn't have to remove this spring here to get the transaxle out. I thought I did, but I did not. But it worked out for the best because this pivot was almost seized. So I needed to get the spring off to clean and lubricate that. But now these rods are a little worn here. I'm tempted to take them back out and weld them and drill them out again. But that might be a job for another day. I don't know. Maybe I'll do one of them. The worst one. Anyway, still thinking about that. So it's Other than that, ready to go back together. And this swivel works fine. The bearing is a little noisy on that idler. Well, I can replace that. And that's about it for now. To be continued. So here's the brake latch. Goes down on there on the bottom lever. You pull that up, it locks the parking brake on like that. And you pull it, or sorry, you pop the brake. Kind of hard to do with. Pop the brake, and you can pull it, push it down, and it releases. On this part here, you can see it's much better than it was. Hardly any play in there at all. So, try that. Put it back together. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, or even notify, or any of the above, or all of the above. Thank you.